1st of November 1999, 25 years ago today, the fifth and penultimate episode of Walking with Dinosaurs, Spirits of the Ice Forest, released. The episode is set 106 million years ago in Antarctica, 21 million years after the previous episode. Despite being supposedly set in Antarctica, all creatures that appeared are known only from Australia, but the two continents were linked at the time, and it is stated to have been set later on in a rift valley between the two. The episode appears to be set in the Umarella Formation, specifically Dinosaur Cove, in far south Victoria, which was laid down in the Aptian to Albion 120 to 100 million years ago, encompassing the temporal setting of the episode. It was filmed in the forests of New Zealand. Leelinosaura was an elasmarian iguanodont from the early Cretaceous, 118 to 110 million years ago, of Dinosaur Cove, meaning it lived in around the right place to appear but went extinct approximately 4 million years before the episode's setting. Leelinosaura is shown hibernating, but more recent studies have found that this is unlikely. It probably had a thick coat of feathers, given that it lived within the Antarctic Circle, and it would help keeping it warm. Some specimens tentatively assigned to Leelinosaura are known to have had a really long tail. It is unlikely that Leelinosaura's eyes were as large as are commonly depicted, as the specimen showing these large eyes is now believed to have come from a juvenile. The snout should probably be slightly longer, and its nesting strategy is based on that of megapodes, warming its eggs by burying them in piles of rotting plant matter. The Leelinosaura is depicted as huddling together for warmth in the winter, something they are believed to have done. Coolosuchus was a Chugootysaurid brachiopoid from the early Cretaceous, 125 to 120 million years ago of Victoria, meaning it lived in the right place to appear, but went extinct approximately 14 million years before the episode's setting. It is stated that Coolosuchus went extinct due to the South Pole warming and allowing crocodiles to outcompete it, but this is now believed to have been unlikely. Coolosuchus would not have attacked by lunging out of the water like a crocodile, but rather by sucking in aquatic prey, similar to other amphibians. It is stated to have hibernated in winter, when it would rather go into a torpor state called brumation, but there is evidence of Temnospondyls, which is the group that Coolosuchus belongs to, doing this. This creature is not named in the episode, as the specimen was not named at the time of production, but it was based on an ankle bone from northern New South Wales, which was originally thought to belong to an allosaur. That specimen has since been named as Australovenator, a megaraptorid tyrannosauroid from the late Cretaceous, 94 million years ago, but possibly dating back as early as 110 million years ago, of northern New South Wales, and possibly the Umarella Formation, meaning it may have lived in the right place in the right time. As mentioned, there is a Megaraptoran fossil known from the Umarella Formation, tentatively assigned to Australovenator. The Australovenator should be more lightly built, and should have feathers and a longer, thinner snout. Australovenator would have also had much bigger arms, and would have primarily used these to hunt rather than its head. It is also shrink-wrapped. Pterosaurs appear. There were no named pterosaurs from Australia at the time of production. They reused the Corkycephalus model, so most likely are some form of ornithocaran. There are 5 genera of ornithocarans known from Australia in the mid-Cretaceous. Aussie Draco, which lived 109 to 103 million years ago. Ferrodraco, which lived 96 to 90 million years ago. Halischia, which lived approximately 105 to approximately 100 million years ago, Mythunga, which lived approximately 110 to 100 million years ago, and Thapungaka, which lived 104 to 100 million years ago, all being found in Queensland's Toolabuck Formation, except Ferrodraco. It is therefore most likely either Aussie Draco or Mythunga, and is often identified by fans as Mythunga. Mythunga is only known from Queensland, but it is stated to have migrated south. This connects with the Ornithocheirus migration narrative from the previous episode. Matabarosaurus was an iguanodont, either a rhabdodontomorph or an elasmarian, from the early Cretaceous, 112 to 103 million years ago, of Queensland, meaning it lived in the right time to appear. It is depicted as being migratory, hence it not being in its native Queensland and northern New South Wales. There is no evidence of this, but migration is believed to have been most likely, out of all non-avian dinosaurs, in iguanodonts. If it wasn't an elasmarian, then it would most likely have had feathers and been more slender than was depicted in the series. It was definitely an obligate biped, not being able to get down onto four legs, although many fossil displays still depict it as quadrupedal. Matabarosaurus did not have thumb claws and would not have been able to pronate its wrists. There is no evidence of Matabarosaurus having an inflatable nose chamber, rather it had a large crest that was part of the skull. Podocarps appear. Podocarps are any member of Podocarpaceae, a family of araucarial cressids which date back to the Jurassic and were found throughout much of the world, especially the Australia, Antarctica and New Zealand regions, meaning that they would have existed at the time and most likely in the right place. A mammal, live acted by a coati, appears. This is meant to be Steropodon, a steropodontid monotreme from the late Cretaceous, 100 to 96 million years ago, of northern New South Wales, meaning it lived close-ish, but didn't evolve for approximately 6 million years after the episode's setting. It also looks nothing like a steropodon, which in reality resembled a platypus rather than a coati. An alternative to steropodon known from Victoria was Cryorichtes, a cholicodontid, another family of basal platypus-like monotremes, that lived around 106 million years ago, meaning it lived at the right place and time. A giant weta appears. Giant weta are any member of the genus Dinacrida, the ancestors of Anostostomatidae, the family containing most weta, evolved at least 80 million years ago. They are known only from New Zealand today, but their ancestors are thought to have been present throughout much of Gondwana, so it is possible for a weta or weta-like creature to have been present in the time and place of the episode's setting. Some species of modern weta are able to survive being frozen over winter, like is depicted in the series. In the scene where it gets eaten, the weta appears to be live-acted by a tree weta, which are members of the genus Hemidyna. Although they do belong to the same subfamily, Dinacrididae, they are different genera. You can tell them apart by the redder coloration and longer head on the tree weta. A tuatara appears. The tuatara, or Sphenodon punctatus, is a sphenodonted rhynchocephalian that evolved in the early Miocene, about 19 million years ago, in New Zealand, meaning it lived in the wrong country and evolved nearly 90 million years after the episode's setting. It is likely that the rhynchocephalians in general were conflated with specifically the tuatara, as it is referred to as having evolved in the Triassic, something true of the order Rhynchocephalia, but not the species Sphenodon punctatus. Although no rhynchocephalians are known from the area where the episode is set at the time of the episode's setting, it is not unlikely that there would have been one from there. It is stated at the end of the episode that the polar dinosaurs went extinct because of the South Pole freezing, but as the late Cretaceous went on, the temperature of the South Pole stayed mostly consistent and actually warmed over time, up until the freezing of Antarctica in the Eocene. Through my secret method, I have given this episode an accuracy rating of 70%. That has been all. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like. I hope you have a good day, and goodbye. Check in next week for my breakdown of the final episode of Dinosaurs, Death of a Dynasty.